solid body bass ukuleles, my Cali California Nick West bass ukulele, and a cheap Brandless from eBay bass ukulele. Right, so two solid body bass ukuleles. The Cali is a U bass, that is actually a brand name, although a lot of people refer to bass ukuleles or bass ukes as U basses. Similarities, they're both solid body, they're both fretted, they're both 4-string, they've both got active electronic systems to them. They're both a sort of purpley pink colour, but there are some obvious differences as well. The Cali has got round wound metal strings, so chrome round nylon, whereas the cheaper bass has got polyurethane strings, or they're a bit sort of rubberized. They're pretty much the same to play, so I thought it'd be fun to take a little look at the two basses and give you my opinion on them. Let's look at the cheap bass ukulele to start with. So I got it on eBay early this year. It took an age to arrive from China, mainly because what was going on in the world at the time. £182. There was a small customs charge, about £25, so about £207 total, including the postage, the shipping. Right, the specs. So the body is made out of ash, nice and light, 21-inch scale, 22 frets, which does make it a little bit different to the Cali. Overall length, from the top right the way down to the bottom, 29.5 inches. The nut, 45mm. The pickup is underneath the saddle, which the saddle looks lighter than the fingerboard. I'm guessing possibly walnut. But the pickup sits under there, unbranded, but works fine. The tuners, 4 tuners, open gear, unbranded again. When I first had it, one of them was a little bit tight, but other than that, they work perfectly well. It is, like the Cali, a bolt-on neck, and a one-piece neck. All right, one-piece neck made out of maple, I think. Rosewood fingerboard. Nice looking bass, to be honest. It's got polyurethane strings, so they feel a bit like a rubber band. If I go like that, you can see just how flexible they are. All right, but it does mean it gives it a very different sound to the Cali. So there we are, cheap, Brandless, eBay bass ukulele, total including shipping, £207. And my Cali Nick West California U Bass. Oh, I've wanted one of these for so long. Go and watch my unboxing and review video of it, you'll find out more. Okay, so first of all, price wise, $1,400, $1,400, plus there was shipping charge of $95, plus a customs charge this end of about 50 quid. Overall though, because there was a little bit of a discount, just because they were running a code at the time, it worked out at about £1,100 sterling, UK money. Okay, so yes, it's a lot more expensive than the cheap eBay bass. Right, so if I run through the specs with you, it's an older body, again, nice and light. This one is probably fractionally heavier than the cheap bass, but again, so much lighter than a normal bass guitar. Round wound strings, so it's much more like an actual bass guitar to play. 21-inch scale again, 24 frets this time. Overall length, just a touch under 29 inches. All right. The nut, just like the cheap one, 45mm. Now this one does have a good set of electronics in there. LR bags, custom EQ. I have been in the back, it was all nice and tidy. When the bass arrived, I actually had to put the battery in, because again, like the cheap one, this is an active setup. The tuners, they are open gear, but these are branded. These are the hip shot tuners, they work beautifully. Fingerboard, maple, with nice black inlays on that. Bolt on neck, just like the cheap bass. And again, a one-piece maple neck. Really nice profile on this, okay, it makes it a real pleasure to play. So this one was about £1,100, the cheaper one about £207, so a big difference in the price. Build quality, I've got to say, for a cheap bass uke, I have been really quite impressed. When it arrived, there were a few sharp frets. It took minutes to sort those out, so that really wasn't an issue. It'd be nice if it arrived with the frets all lovely, but a couple of minutes work. There was an issue with the electronics. One of the controls didn't work at all, so I took the back off, had a look. There's an awful lot of wires in the back there. Couldn't see anything obvious. Put the back on and it worked perfectly. So I've got to say, the actual paintwork on this really is quite distinctive, okay? I can't see any little blemishes or anything in it. The overall quality of it, the way the strings sit in the nut, as I mentioned earlier, the tuners work great. So I've got to say, for the money, I've been impressed by the build quality. The collar turned up, not a single issue. Frets, great. Action, very good. As I mentioned again, the tuners worked perfectly. Nothing wrong with the frets at all. And nothing wrong with the electronics. Quite neat in the back. In fact, I did have to put a battery in it. That was the only thing I actually had to do. I've got to say, the quality of the build of this one is very fine. The paintwork on it, it's just stunning, okay? So both of them, for their prices, I've been really impressed by the build quality. On to sound quality next. I'm going to plug both the basses in. I'm going to use my 15-inch Warwick bass amp. I've got a mic set up in front of that, going straight into my Mac. The first sound demo I'm going to do, I won't touch the controls. Alright, so I will literally, both basses will be on full volume, and I will just plug them into the bass amp and record, so hopefully you will hear exactly what I'm doing without changing any controls. So the collar first, I'm just going to go up and down the open strings to give you a sense of how consistent the pickup is. And bass is just turned up full on the volume and about halfway on the tone controls. And Pinky, the cheap bass ukulele, I'll do the same with the open strings. I haven't touched the volume at all on the bass amp, and this is turned up full with the tone controls about halfway. So that gives us a little bit of an idea, a direct sound comparison. The most notable thing, this one is much quieter than the Cali. Now you can compensate for that because you can always turn the amp up, but I just want you, hopefully it'll come across in the video, just how much quieter at the same volumes this one is. In terms of the actual pickup, I do think both of them are really quite consistent in their balance. I was trying desperately to pluck the strings on both bass ukes the same, just to give you an idea. And the balance going across the strings up and down is very good on both of them. I've played quite a few cheaper electroacoustic bass ukes, and there's been a massive difference in some of the strings. But in this case, I think the sound quality, this one is much, much quieter, but a very consistent balance with the pickup and the strings. Right, so I'll just play through a few well-known bass riffs just to give you a little idea of sound. I will balance these more as a better comparison of sound rather than just of volume all the time, okay? So there we go, a direct comparison between the two of them, and hopefully the balance will be a little bit more even there, just to give you a better reflection of the different sounds. What do they like to play? both fine. This one, for a cheap bass, the neck profile on it is lovely to move up and down. The only issue I've really got is as you go higher up to the much higher registers, the top frets, very occasionally you're going to be careful because the string, the G string, can sort of come off the edge of the fingerboard. That doesn't happen on this one, but it does happen on fretted electroacoustics with the rubber strings as well. And I love the scratch plate on this because it just gives me somewhere to rest my thumb. So I do miss that on here. But this one is just beautiful to play. As a bass player of almost 40 years, they really are, they're so nice, they're so cute. I don't have to stretch so far as I do on a normal bass guitar. This one gives me the nicest sound in terms of the round wound, but I love the sound of the rubber strings on this because it sounds a lot more like an upright double bass. Okay, so my conclusions. Right, easiest way I think of describing it, I think this one is excellent value for just over £200. You're getting a very playable, consistent sounding bass ukulele. For this one, excellent quality. Yes, it costs a lot more. I've got bass guitars that cost twice this price, but you get a named brand, made in America. There's been an awful lot of thought and workmanship gone into these California U basses. So excellent value, excellent quality. So there we are, my comparison of my two solid body bass ukuleles. I do hope you've enjoyed. If you've got a comment or a question, please feel free to leave it below. Give us a like if you've enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on new videos. Thank you for watching.